In a world where Gen X women are literally trying to understand menopause and just survive out here, and Jesus must be the center of everything we do so we don't end up in jail.
We want to reserve a place where we can address our hot flashes and most definitely everything the Holy Ghost has laid on our hearts, all at the same time.
I'm Michelle.
I'm Elena.
So come on, let's talk about it. Hello.
Welcome
To our show.
Dun, 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 dun. Listen, it feels like it's been forever since I've done this. I can't.
It kind of, you weren't here last week.
I know.
Which was weird.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It was fun doing it with Aunt Brenda, but it was really weird.
I was jealous when I watched. I was like,
It was really weird.
I'm a little bit jealous.
I got to tell you, I got to say that I think I want to say from Tuesday to now, I've probably had 10 people message me saying, you should have Sister Morris on there more often.
Oh, let's do it.
So, she's going to be like, no, Michelle.
Right? I feel like we can probably
Because she doesn't understand how awesome she is.
twist her arm a little bit. She doesn't. But that's why she's so awesome, because she's so humble about it.
She really is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, truly, truly awesome.
She is. I love her.
I was trying to think of something funny to say, and really, the only thing I could think of was today while we were singing, and we had an amazing service.
Yes, we did.
But I'm going to tell you what, we were singing today, and I got cotton mouth about halfway through,
Yeah.
and then I had to lead that last song.
Hey, you tore that song up, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tore it up with my tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth.
You tore it up. You did tear it up.
When I got done with that song, I thought I was going to rip. Like, I had to pull my lip out. My mouth was so dry. Everything was stuck together. I was like,
I feel like that we need a little tray in the very back, like behind the organ, hidden with some
Somewhere to
little
put a
tiny
drink.
waters and some Kleenex. Can we get some Kleenex on the
Yes.
platform, please?
can we work on that? Because let me tell
And
you
some
what I'm going to have to
fans.
do.
Can we get some
I told y'all
fans
this
and,
when we got on the platform.
can we-
I'm going to have to get one of those
Camel
bags that go on my back. Hey, maybe that's a thing. I could do that. I could put my pack in it.
Yeah.
All the things with a little
Yes.
straw that come up and just...
Yes.
I'm
That's an awesome idea.
I'm
Maybe we
telling
should
you right
try
now,
that.
My mouth, I was parched. I was parched.
I was roasting. Can we just talk about that?
Hot and parched.
Because this morning I temporarily lost my mind getting ready for church and thought, oh, it'd be cool to wear my hair down today, which I never stinking do.
You look
Okay.
pretty,
Never do. But I washed it last night.
Yeah, when you wash your hair, it's just nice.
So
to let
I
it
was
go.
like, oh. And I was like, let me do this. And my husband said to me, well, and it looks really pretty, but are you sure you're going to be okay up there on the platform? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's fine. I wasn't fine. I was not fine. If you watch me, I was not fine. Anyway,
it was hot.
I died,
It's the lights.
but then I came back to
Just
life.
those lights.
It was that, and then I felt like it was a little bit warmer in there today than usual,
Probably
though.
was.
I mean, it could have just been me.
But it doesn't matter whatever the temperature is.
But-
Those lights double
yeah,
it.
they're really hot, like really hot.
The menopausal and the perimenopausal people are dying. We're dying.
Listen, I went shopping yesterday. I say went shopping. I did. I went shopping with Kim yesterday and Abby because she needed to find a dress for the wedding coming up next weekend. Abby did. And so we ended up finding a dress. I guess I'm the good luck charm because it was actually the first place we went and she's going to look so pretty in it. But, Kim and I used to go shopping. We'd have a shop day every, couple months or whatever. And we used to go and we would meet at like 8 a.m. and have breakfast and then go to the mall. And it would be like dark. And we would finally decide, oh, we're done. Let's go home. Baby. Yesterday, by the time 2:30, 3 o'clock rolled around, we were dead. We were like, that's it. We're done. And here's the thing. We didn't leave here till 10 o'clock going to Valley Ranch. So, we probably shopped a total of maybe 3 hours.
Girl, shopping's hard.
Because we ate lunch at 1. Well, that was about 1:15. We went to Olive Garden, and we were there for a good little while because we were trying to catch our breath.
Shopping ain't easy.
So I said, man, wait, we're just not built like we used to be built. It's not for the faint of heart.
It's not.
But we did find Abby a wedding dress and shoes, or a dress to wear to the wedding, not a wedding dress, a dress to wear to the wedding and shoes. Oh, and Kim found her dress and shoes too. So we had a good turnout.
It was a win.
A win-win. But yeah, I was like, yeah. Anyway, we'll just talk about that for a minute.
It's just, if I've got to exert myself physically, it's a no for me. It's a no. My doctor told me I need to be exercising at least 3 times a week, 30 minutes at a time. What do doctors even know? Let's just be honest. They even know, like I feel like they just, what can I say to just turn these people's lives upside down?
I'm just excited that you went to the doctor. Can we just talk about
Actually,
that?
a nurse practitioner.
Well, Matt's rolling his eyes and shaking his head.
Not really a doctor.
What do they know? Tomato. Anyway.
All right, so
Let's get rolling.
we got these questions. Anybody who enjoyed the episode last week, you're going to get kind of not a do-over. You're going to get kind of a do-over, but not a do-over.
Kind
of,
of, but not
questions. Really. So these come from an array of people. Some are young ladies. Some are middle-aged. Some are young marrieds, and some are our age. Would you call that middle age?
Yeah, I guess we are middle age.
But these are all me and Aunt Brenda talked about this in the last episode. We were talking about how much we love the ladies at our church. Ladies at our church, they're awesome. So, we had so much fun last week that I thought until we get the moment to sit down and do literally some more episodes, this is kind of a fun thing to do, right? Yeah, because it kind of gives you some topics to talk about. So these are random questions from random people. It's completely anonymous. I'm not going to tell nobody who asked the question, but I'm just going to call off the questions, and then some of these I haven't even read through. So just so you know, like I haven't been studying. I haven't studied the questions.
All right.
I feel like there's no right or wrong answer. You just going to get an Elena Michelle answer. But the first one says, how do you let people in without feeling like such a burden and keep yourself from shutting down?
How do you let people in without feeling like such a burden and keep yourself from shutting down?
I guess, and isolating yourself to the point where you just don't share with them because you're so worried about being a burden, maybe?
Well, let me word this carefully, because I know what I'm thinking in my head, but I don't want it to come out.
She's trying to be nice.
As abrasive as it's probably going to sound, because I don't mean it that way. So my first question, if that person were sitting here, would be, why do you feel like it would be a burden to let somebody in? Is it because everybody that you let in, you consistently unload on them and there's no reciprocation on your part? And so when you have unloaded everything you can unload and you're not getting any feedback, it's a one-sided deal. And then you shut down because you don't feel like validated or valued, or, and I'm not saying that's the case because I don't know who asked the question, don't need to know. Or could it be that when you let people in, maybe you have done that and you have been let down and you have reciprocated and you have been a good friend back and you are a good listener, but that person has maybe not met expectations when you have needed someone.
Yeah.
Or when because that happens sometimes.
Sure.
Because when you let people close to you, those things have to be cultivated, and you have to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
So it could be one of two things, or you could just be somebody that's been through a lot of trauma and you're just scared to let people in general. And so you try it and then it doesn't last very long because you just clam up because you're just scared to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Could be that.
Yeah. And if you're hanging around people that make constantly make you feel like you're a burden when you are transparent or trying to share your problems or circumstances or situations, maybe you're not around the
need new
right
people.
people.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to find somebody that maybe pray about God putting the right person in your life. We always talk about your circle matters.
It does.
And there are going to be instances where things like that will prove if the person you have in your life is the right person or the wrong person. Because I've had instances in my life where, have you ever been there for people? You've been there for them. You've been there for them. You've been there for them. And then it's I don't want to say it's your turn.
The one time you need something.
One time you need something, they're not there, or they're there and it's such a huge deal.
Yes, and they want everybody to know they're there.
And then
they
I
make it all about
the
them.
shutting down part. I get it.
So yeah.
And so you got to make sure you're positioned around the right people. Young, middle age, old. I don't care what category you're in.
And friendship is not something, because when you let people in like that, that's what you're doing is cultivating a friendship and a relationship. It's not something where you keep tabs either.
No.
It's not something where you say, oh, well, I did this for you, so now you owe me.
Right.
Because if we did that, there are so many people that I am indebted to forever, for the way that they've just been there for me. Yeah. And it's not that I'm not there for them, but sometimes they haven't needed me in that way because they're not as big of a mess up as I am.
I feel that.
I mean, can we just talk about that for a minute?
I feel sorry for all of my friends.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm a struggle sometimes as a friend, but I know that, and I try to reciprocate and be that friend that's there or whatever. How can I help you? Whatever. But I'm just a hot mess sometimes, and so I need a little more attention than most people.
I'm not going to talk about that because I feel like I'm on the same line, so I can't judge somebody else. And I also think that we're human beings. And so I'm going to speak to the shutting down part, because when you isolate yourself and shut down because you've had bad experiences and then you find yourself not wanting to enter into any other friendships. It's kind of like when someone will come to me and say, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore because I was with so-and-so and he hurt me and da-da-da. And they're telling the truth. They were hurt, severely hurt in a relationship. But here's the deal. Anytime that we enter into any kind of human relationship, I don't care if it's family, significant others, friends, whatever it is, you're always taking a risk of getting hurt, because in our humanity, that's just what we're capable of.
You're probably going to get hurt at some point or another.
I can guarantee you're going to get hurt.
I mean, you're going to, you're going to get hurt.
So I also want to say,
you handle it.
If you've been in a relationship or friendship or whatever with someone and they've made you feel like a burden when you've had a problem or you've had your own circumstances that you need to lean on someone with, don't let that keep you from giving someone a try and making friends, and also get out of the box. Don't just have a certain kind of friend. God will surprise you. He'll put someone in your life that you never thought that you never would have chosen, and he'll use them to show you that not all of humanity is broken. Not all of humanity is going to deceive or betray you. And, I think it just goes back to let God put people in your life.
Right.
Don't try to choose them on your own.
And sometimes it's just because we're bad communicators.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't want it to sound like but it's, and I've had to learn this. Sometimes it's just because we're bad communicators. And I say that because I talk about this frequently. When Kelton and I got married, we had been together for 2 years, already. And we very much knew that was what we were going to do. But when I tell you we've had to learn how to be married, we've had to learn how to be married.
Yeah.
Because I had a failed marriage before. He had 2 failed marriages before. And we just did not know how to be married like God has institutes marriage in the Word. So we've had to learn. I say we had to learn how. We have had to learn how. We are learning how. And the number one key to that, first and foremost, is God has to be first. Prayer, you have to pray. You have to learn how to pray together about everything. But prayer is communication. It's communication with God. But it's also, you can communicate with one another in prayer, because you can pray for one another and over one another. And that's the number one way to communicate. But also, number two is just honest communication with each other.
Transparency.
Like Friday, something happened and I literally just had to, and he knew something was wrong, but he wasn't sure what. And he hadn't done anything. It was just a situation. And I couldn't figure out how to communicate it with him without being angry. And I wasn't even angry at him, but I was angry because in my mind, I felt like, well, you should have just known.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't.
Read my mind, Matt.
Yeah, he didn't. So
Matt's like, I don't want to be in your mind.
But I have learned that when that happens, it's usually a communication problem on my part. Yeah. And so I left and went to work, and on my way to work, and I started to pray, and I was like, God, you gotta help me, because I got to tell him this, but I need to tell him, I need to communicate it in the right way.
Yeah.
And so sure enough, I was about halfway to work, and then it was like, okay, now here's how I should say this. Here's what I should say. So I called him on the phone and I was like, okay, I'm ready to talk about this. And I did. And it was like, whoo, like weight lifted. And he was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize, just communication. Yeah. So if you're not a great communicator, sometimes people will make you feel a certain way, and not always. Sometimes people are just mean and they're not good and they just are hurtful and you don't need them in your life. But sometimes people don't know that they've hurt you, or they don't know that they've offended you, because we just get upset and shut down, maybe because of something in the past or something, and we don't communicate. Now, that's not saying that if you communicate something to someone that was hurtful and they kind of scoff or throw it back in your face, well, clearly they're not interested in cultivating anything. So that, I'm not saying you should keep pushing, but if you're that person that is not a real good communicator and you don't, consider that, try that. Don't neglect that, because you have to be a good communicator.
I agree with that.
Anyway.
Next one says, looking back on all that you both have been through and all the things you've lost along the way, what do you value the most of all the things you have gained? For me, it's nothing material. For me, it's relationship and the value of relationship. Everybody knows I love my husband. Y'all, I love my husband. My husband, he treats me like a queen. And I ain't a queen, but he treats me like a queen. And relationships with my kids, knowing that they can look into my eyes and they don't have to worry about where I'm going to be in 24 hours. They don't have to worry if I'm going to be there for them. I guess what I mean. Yeah. They don't have to worry that the unstableness of my life is going to cause me to drift and maybe not show up for 30 days, It's got to be the value of relationship. That's got to be the most valuable thing that God has given back to me. Because when you come out of addiction, there's this fear there. Am I going to get relationships back? Am I going to, is it gonna be, you tell yourself, or I told myself at least, if my kids didn't forgive me, then I would understand they have every right.
Yeah.
But I can sit here and say that because my kids forgave me.
Yes, on this side
I have
of
this
it.
Beautiful relationship with all three of my amazing children that I love more than anything. And so it's easy for me to say, had it been different, I probably would be speaking different right now. But I'm just going to go with what I know. And what I know is that God did restore those relationships. And if I look at my life now, outside of my relationship with God, the one thing I would never want to lose, if I lost every dime, if I lost my home, if I lost every belonging every materialistic thing that I had, the one thing outside of God that I would not want to lose is the relationship with my husband and my kids, because it's so valuable to me. I came home today from church and there was some circumstances this morning that arose, and I came home and I was overwhelmed, and I began to apologize to my daughter. and it was emotional. And she just looked at me, and I said, I wish I could have been a better mom. And she said, you are better.
Yeah.
You are a better mom. You are better.
Absolutely.
Like, I've watched you. And in that moment, there was like this peace that kind of came over me. It didn't mean that everything just magically went away, but it was this peace that told me that my kids have paid attention to the change that I've made in my life. Therefore, it's caused our relationship to be stronger, and they can trust my actions. They can trust my words. They can trust, they can trust things that used to they couldn't trust.
Yeah.
And that relationship that I have with my husband and my kids, that's the most valuable thing I've gained outside of my relationship with God. Because my relationship with God, of course, is, that's number one. I never had, looking back on my life, I might have been raised in church, but compared to how I know God now, I don't think I had a relationship with God.
Yeah.
I knew him. I felt him.
Sure.
I had the Holy Ghost. I served him, but I didn't know him like I know him now. So if I had to answer that question, it would definitely be relationship.
That's good. That's hard. I've been sitting
there's
here
a lot of
thinking while you were
things.
talking. There's just a lot of things, but I think for me it's the peace, the peace and the restoration, just of a sound mind.
Oh.
I look back and over the years of my life, even before addiction, and realize that I really didn't live in peace. It was it was something that I tried so hard to create and manufacture, because nothing was ever right from the beginning. And so, and then getting lost in addiction, there is no peace there. And there is no, your mind, you literally will feel like you're going insane.
Yeah.
And so there was those moments where in recovery, I knew that God could restore it, but I wondered if he would, because after all, I knew better.
Yeah.
And I had to take responsibility. And even now, and I say this being very transparent, when the enemy attacks me, that is where he attacks me.
Yeah.
Almost always.
Yeah.
Is my peace and my mind. And so I have to really, really give that to God.
Right.
This morning, it was just one of those services, and just laying there in the altar, and I was just, well, to be honest, there was a point there where I was just telling God, I'm tired. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
And I could hear Brandy before I felt her, and then I felt her hand on my back, and she began to pray. And then she but it was that peace that she brought. And then later she said to me, I came to pray for you. She said, and God did not reveal to me. And I'm thinking, thank God he didn't, because God be showing Brandy some things. But she said, God did not reveal to me what it is. And then she told me some other things. But it was in that moment, and I haven't even had a chance to tell her this yet. It was in that moment I feel like that God didn't reveal, because that peace that she brought with her, the enemy has toyed with me just over the last week or so. I say week and a half. There comes a point where it's the enemy, and you're just trying to push through, and you're just trying to be like, God, I need you, Yeah. And sometimes you'll be in that. And this morning up there praying, there was a moment where even after she said that to me, you could just feel the presence of God. And then when it just descended again, and it was just, and I remember I just laid my face on the altar just like this, and it was so cool, but it was like, and I remember thinking I could lay right here for hours.
Yeah.
because in that moment, it was like God said, okay, now here you go.
Yeah.
You know, you've been, and here's the thing. There were things that in that week and a half, the enemy was attacking, but God was working on some things and he was showing me some things. And that's just the way it happens with me. I guess it's different with everybody else, but I thought this morning, there's nothing like the peace and the restoration that he has given me.
Yeah.
And whatever it costs me to maintain it and to keep it,
It's worth it.
that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Anything material is beside the point. It's not even, I don't even consider it when it comes to that, because if I don't have peace and I don't have restoration, then I don't have him. Because if I'm not living in peace, then I'm not living in the spirit. Like I'm not. So I think that would probably be probably one of the most valuable things.
I feel that.
Anyway.
How do you maintain a forgiving attitude with someone who is close to you but keeps hurting you intentionally?
Take my glasses off on that one. Let me just, my little eye holes right
We're going to try to line ourselves up.
Hallelujah.
We're going to get realigned here for a minute because.
First of all, I mean, I'm kind of laughing, but I'm really not. I'm serious. First of all, we do have to forgive people. Sometimes even when we're not wrong. But why are you still letting that person hurt you?
Yeah.
Why are you still giving them access?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something about me. And if you're very close to me, you know this. You might hurt me and you might make me, as my nana used to say, fit to be tied. But about one time is all you're going to get the opportunity at this point in my life.
What if it's family?
Same. Because here's the thing. And that's not to say that it won't happen again and they won't come up. And I mean, I'm just going to be transparent here. There are times when there are people close to me, you know this better than anybody, and I have to say, hang on a minute. We're not going to do this. We're not going to act like this. We're not going to, that's not. And sometimes I have to have people that are around me that are for me, like you, like my husband, say, hang on a minute. Let's shut this down. We're not going, no.
Right.
That's not how we do it. Mm-mm. And I have to be reminded. So I'm not answering this from a place of I got it all together, but I am answering it from a place of sometimes you got to put people in their place and that place ain't in your space, even if they are your family.
Yeah.
You can hold people at arm's length and not give them that kind of access.
You could actually piggyback this question off of that one. So while we're talking about that, this one says, how do you stand up for healthy, godly boundaries in a family of unhealthy boundaries who also call themselves Christians? I'll never forget, and this was in a pretty, me and my mom have a great relationship now. So let me just preface this by saying this was in a moment where we had some struggles and some disagreements during this time. But I remember going to, me and my brother actually had went to my old pastor, and there were some things that we didn't agree with. And he told us this. He said, the scripture says to honor your father and your mother. He said, that's the only mother you'll ever have.
Yeah.
So, biblically speaking, you must honor her. However, if you're going through parts of your life, whether she's going through parts of her life, you're going through parts of your life where there's turmoil and toxicity and it's not healthy and whatever, you can honor her from a distance until the healing comes and you can stand in a good place. and repair
Yes.
or whatever. Or that time doesn't come and the healing isn't sought after. You know, me and my mom, we've sought healing in our lives and we have a good relationship. But there was a time when that wasn't the case for either one of us. We
Right.
both stood in a very toxic place in our life and we couldn't get along.
Yeah.
And her and my brother, I think I can say this, they didn't get along and relationships have been healed and whatever. I'm talking about the past. So, but when he told me that really taught me a lot about relationship in general, not just with my mom, but it made me understand that boundaries, even with people that we love, that's our family, we say this all the time, forgiveness and reconciliation are two very different
things. Yeah.
You can forgive someone, but still create very healthy boundaries that they can't just walk all over. And so whether it's someone you love, whether it's family, whether it's Sister Susie Q at church, whoever it is, if boundaries need to be created for you to have a healthy life, let's just, your home is that's what God's called you to, right? That's our first calling.
Yes.
Okay. So for whoever gave this question, because I don't have names next to all these, but your home is your first calling.
Yes.
So what kind of boundaries do you need to create for you to have a happy, healthy home?
Yeah.
Sometimes just because they're family doesn't mean they need to have access.
No.
I have family that I love a lot,
Yeah.
but they don't have access to my life.
They ain't about to come up in my house, though.
No. I have family that I pray for and that they're very dear to me.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean they have access to my life or my space or my family, because first and foremost, my obligation is to my family and my home. And I'm not saying boundaries are easy.
No, they're difficult.
I'm
lot
a
of
people
times.
pleaser.
Yeah, we know, Michelle.
You know how hard it is for me to create boundaries. Y'all, boundaries are
Just gonna drink my water
worst.
over here.
They are the worst. But I will tell you this. Because I have good friends like Elena, because I have an amazing husband like Matt, and family, oftentimes, even if I don't see it, they'll say, hey, you need to cut that person off. Not because they're being ugly, but they know how it's affecting me. Or my husband will say, hey, we need to chill on these people. I'm not going to say any names. We need to chill on these people because it's causing conflict in our home. It's causing, it's too much.
Yeah.
They don't need access to our happiness.
Right.
And when people start having access to your happiness, the happiness in your marriage, the happiness in your home, the happiness with your children, just basic day-to-day happiness, when there are people, family members, whoever, that have access to that and they can tamper with it, they too close. They got too much power.
Yes.
I ain't telling you not to love people. I ain't telling you not to love your family, your parents, your in-laws, your cousins, your whatever.
Yes.
But if they have so much control over your life, I was talking to Samantha and Logan the other day, and I was talking to them, and I said, when y'all get out on your own, I hope y'all know that it's y'all's business.
Yeah.
Don't come up in here thinking that I got something for you. I got love for you,
Yeah.
but I ain't gonna be showing up at your house every day.
No. Mm-mm.
Like I was literally telling Logan, my hope and my prayer is that I gave you enough as your mom for you to go and live your life.
Yes.
And if you make a decision I don't like, that's your business.
That's your business.
That's your business.
My kids all the time. And I have, that is one rule that I've stuck to when they both got married. And both of my daughters married wonderful men, and I mean that. I have two of the best son-in-laws you could ask for. But one of my oldest daughter's husband says, that's one of the reasons why I love you so much, because you don't get in our business. No, why would I get in your business? That's your business.
Look, I got enough of my own
I got
business.
enough to take care of, son. I said, let me tell you what. The only time I will get in your business is if it's like you breaking the law and you hurting my grandbabies or my daughter,
Exactly.
then I might get involved. But your business is your business.
Yeah.
But they handle their business.
Yeah.
They raise their children well. They're very successful. They work hard. God's blessed them. And so a lot of times the reason why, and I can say this because I've been there, I feel like a lot of times the reason why we find ourselves in barren places and desolate places is because we are allowing mess like that too close to us. And God says, I can't bless you. I can't give you, because you're not walking in the freedom and the healing and the peace that you need to walk in. So if I give you this, you're not going to know what to do with it. You're not going to steward it. It'll be snatched away from you because you are living in chaos.
Yeah.
You don't have boundaries. You don't know when to say no. You don't know what you stand for and what you don't stand for. Therefore, I could give you some things. I could do something, but I can't because you wouldn't know what to do with it. You wouldn't know how to steward it.
Right.
And I've been there. I can say that because I've been there.
Yeah.
And you have to learn, this is okay, this is not.
Yeah.
There's no in between there. The only in between there is when you step from one very clearly to the other.
And a lack of boundaries too. I would even dare say that's probably one of the hardest things on a marriage.
Oh yeah.
One of the hardest things on a marriage. Because,
Lack of boundaries is literally a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what creates a lack of boundaries.
Right.
Because when you don't know who you are,
Yeah.
and you don't know what you're about,
Yeah.
and you don't know this right here, well, you got no boundaries. Yeah. You just got no, because you don't know anything.
Yeah.
You're just willing to whatever, to be accepted or to be loved or to feel this way or to feel that way, because you just living off of emotion from one moment to the next, and you just in all
And your
kinds
spouse
of
has got to be
whatever.
the most important thing outside of God in your life.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I ain't trying to be ugly, but even Matt was telling Logan and Samantha the other day, he said, when you have babies, make sure you don't ever forget that she is the most important thing in your life.
Yes.
Your kids are important.
Yes.
And you got an obligation to raise them kids right and everything else. But at the end of the day, they gonna grow up and leave. But she will be with you forever.
Yes.
And that's who you better make sure your eyes are on what they're supposed to be on.
You cannot lose yourself in that.
You can't. And you got to defend them, and you got to stand for them.
Yes.
And the people that have the biggest problems with you having boundaries in your life are the ones that benefit the most from you not having any
boundaries. Yeah.
Like, let's just be honest.
And they don't have any boundaries.
Exactly. Them the ones that going to complain the most.
Yes.
They going to call you every name. They going to cause problems in your marriage. They going to try to control. It's control. It's control. People that don't have boundaries, they lost control in their own life, and they want to control your life by bringing their mess and dumping it in your lap. And then trying to control your life. No.
One of my employees the other day said something Friday at work. He said, Grisham, life is hard. I said, yeah, it is. He said, it's even harder when you're stupid. I said,
boy, that's hard.
Well, there's a news flash for you.
That should be on a pillow.
I said, I'm about to get that put on a T-shirt.
Put it on a T-shirt.
But how often do we act like that? We just act, and I know a lot of people don't like that word, but we act ignorant sometimes.
Yeah.
And we make life hard on ourselves because we're stupid. We're ignorant. We don't have any boundaries.
Yeah.
We don't want to tell people anything. We don't want to draw clear lines.
Yeah.
But we want everybody to fast and pray when our lives are turned upside down, and we just don't understand why we can't break this stuff off of us. Okay, well, you got to have boundaries. The word says you got to have boundaries.
So whoever put this in here about how do you stand up for healthy, godly boundaries in a family of unhealthy boundaries, who are also calling themselves Christians, yeah, I can call myself a bat, but I ain't going to hang upside down on a tree on Halloween.
No.
I can call myself a brain surgeon, but I best not let me cut no head open. You can call yourself a lot of things, but if you are a real Christian, if you're really what that word means, Christ-like,
Yeah.
Jesus had boundaries.
Yeah, show me your fruit.
Yeah. Jesus had boundaries.
And that don't mean that you gonna A lot of times when it's your family, you can't tell them, hey, you're not really, we got to love them and pray for them and ask God to give them a revelation or put somebody in their path to minister to them, because a lot of times we can't.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you can, but a lot of times if it's people close to you like that and it's toxic already, well, you're not going to be the one to minister to them. But I guarantee you somebody somewhere is meant to.
Yep.
And you better get on your face and start praying. God, send them. God, put them in their
Create
path.
boundaries and
God,
start praying.
Yes, absolutely. We've all had to do that.
And start praying.
We've all had to do that.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
I know that is right.
And don't let fear of being alone or being without someone cause you to not create boundaries and not draw clear lines.
Yeah.
Because we've been there too.
Yep.
And that is the worst thing you could ever possibly do.
You let the wrong people in, or you let the ones that love you take complete advantage of you.
They'll love you right to death.
Yeah.
Literally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. The next one says, what advice would you give someone who has failure in their past and's been forgiven, but still carries the burden of reproach?
Well, we just touched on this a little bit this morning. You and I were talking about how the enemy will use guilt and condemnation and shame.
Yeah.
That's just something that the enemy has in his arsenal.
Yeah.
And we have to be aware. We have to be cognizant of the fact that we are new creatures in Christ. The old is washed away.
Yeah.
The new has come.
Yeah.
When we repented and said we were sorry the very first time, he cast it as far as the east is to the west.
Yeah.
And he doesn't remember it. And so literally when the enemy tries that, or those feelings come up, those emotions come up, and sometimes they'll come from people around you. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll come from people that want to throw your past up in your face.
Yeah.
And you can't allow that. You have to draw a line and say, no, that's not who God says I am. That's not how we're going to do this.
Right.
That's not how I live. That's not. And we have to live in a way and conduct ourselves in a way and bear fruit in a way that lets everyone know that we are free. We are free. The Bible says you're free indeed. Who the Son sets free is free indeed. And so we have to live with a free indeed mentality. Sometimes that's harder than others because the enemy will come at you with that. The best way, really the only way to come at that is with the word. If you don't know the word and you don't know what the word says about not living under condemnation and not living under guilt and not living under shame, well, I can tell you, don't feel guilty. You're forgiven till I'm blue in the face. But you better know this, and you better get it in your spirit and in your heart and root it in you and know who he says you are.
Yeah.
Once we have been washed in the blood and our sins have been forgiven, you better know where to stand and you better know what he says. Right. Because if we don't, the enemy will take us out with guilty feelings, condemnation, a spirit of condemnation, a spirit of, and then we will be so afraid to do anything and to walk anywhere.
And all you do is walk in guilt and shame.
Yes, and we'll just walk in guilt all the time.
I think, too, one of the most valuable things that God showed me or taught me was that I'm not always going to be everybody's favorite.
I was going to say, everybody ain't always going to put you in a place of forgiveness.
Exactly. Not everybody is going to think that I can be who I am.
No.
They're not going to support my ministry or God's ministry, but the work that I do for God.
Yeah.
You're not always going to be everyone's cup. Matt always says, you ain't pizza. You ain't going to make everyone happy. And that's just a fact.
It's true.
But when you can understand that and know, embrace the ones that embrace you and pray for the ones that don't want to put their hands around your neck and hug you. Pray for them anyhow.
They want to put their hands around your neck, but it's just not to hug you.
You know, when I was a kid, Morton Bustard came and did a revival at our church. He used to come regularly. And he said something. He said, be careful pulling things out from under the blood that have been placed underneath it. And I thought about that as an adult. And I thought, how many times do we do that to others?
Yeah.
How many times we're not careful and we want to talk about someone's sin. We want to talk about someone's past because the blood washes us clean, right?
Yes.
And the enemy can't tamper with that.
No.
The enemy can't mess with the blood, right?
No. Mm-mm.
But our flesh can.
Yeah.
And the enemy can use us to pull something back out from underneath the blood.
Yeah.
And
Ooh,
so
that's good.
whether it's you're talking about yourself or whether you're talking about someone else, be careful when you tamper with something that's under the blood. Even when it's yourself, I try to be very careful, even though I know it happens in our flesh, it's going to happen. I try to be really careful about beating myself with an old bat.
Yeah.
With my past, with all that stuff, because I did it. I can't change it. It
Right.
happened. But what I know
Yes.
is that God washed me clean.
Yeah, it's under the blood.
And when the moment I start feeling guilt, because you've helped me a lot with this issue, but the moment I start feeling guilt, because I've dealt with a lot of guilt with my kids, how I failed them, this and that and the other, you just got to stand in your healing and say, that's not who I am anymore.
Right.
It stinks that I did that. I wish I could change it. I can't change it.
No.
And I'm going to stand in the place that God wants me to stand. And then there are going to be people that stand with me, and there are going to be people that absolutely don't think that I deserve to stand anywhere but in hell.
Yeah.
And that just is what it is.
That's just how it's going to be.
There's people that turn their nose up at me. Still, I'm almost 10 years clean and sober, and they'll turn their nose up at me and think she don't deserve to walk where she's walks. She don't deserve to be used. She don't. Okay. Everybody's entitled to their stinky opinion.
Yeah. That's
Go on. You want to know how I feel about you?
I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to love you.
Oh, it's like that Angela Johnson, that Christian comedian. She always say the Christian way to cuss somebody out is when they treat you bad and you just say, bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
That's what I'm over here saying. Bless your heart.
Bless your heart. That's funny.
But not everybody going to be your fan.
No.
And I know it's hard when you walk away from legitimately bad things or sin or whatever. And I'm not going to try to call anything out. When I am about to call something out, but I don't mean it in the way some people might take it. So let me preface it with saying that I love the apostolic faith. I love being Pentecostal. I love this oneness, beautiful salvation that I live in. I love it. I love the gospel. I try to live out the Bible, but sometimes it can get really bad in the Pentecostal faith because we gauge sin. We say this is a greater sin than this.
Yeah.
Oh, she had an affair. Oh, well. Oh, she did drugs. Oh, she used to be a lesbian. Oh, and we look at these huge sins in our fleshly eyes and say,
Yes. We give them levels.
And we got to break that in the church. We've got to break that because Jesus wasn't like that.
No.
Jesus didn't look at the woman that was caught in the very act of adultery any different than the woman with the issue of blood or the Jairus' daughter that was raised from the dead. There were miracle upon miracle upon miracle. He didn't look at things different.
No.
He looked at it as somebody that needed him in that moment, and he met a need. And if we don't start looking at each other that way, instead of looking at each other saying, she used to be a drug addict.
Yeah.
She used to be a prostitute. So, I'm really glad she's living for God, but let's be honest. There's only so much God's going to do with that life, And if we're not careful, we can look at things through delusional glasses.
Yeah.
And God does not look at stuff that way.
That's true.
The Bible says when one sinner repents,
all of heaven rejoices.
All of heaven rejoices. You just said the sea of forgetfulness. It says he tosses it as far as the east is from the west. So who are we?
Right.
And so you have to get that frame of mind. Don't get me wrong. Whoever sent this question, whatever this is connected to, whatever sin it may be connected to in your life, I get it. It's hard when someone looks at you and forms an opinion on you based on your past, based on a past decision. But can I just say, we are not our past.
No.
And I am who God says I am.
Right.
I don't care who Susie Q. I don't know no Susie Q. So, but I don't care what she says about me.
Right.
I'm going to line up with my pastor.
Yes.
I'm going to line up with God, but I'm going to line up with my pastor.
Yes.
I'm going to do what my pastor gives me authority to do because of what God's called me to do.
Yes.
I'm going to work in my little corner. I always call it my recovery corner, but whatever your ministry looks like, I'm going to go to my corner. I'm going to work where God told me to work.
Yep.
And all the naysayers go on to
figure it out.
Nayville and they can go live there and ignore them.
Figure it out.
Because I'm sure probably whoever sent this, you probably a really awesome person.
Probably.
You probably living your best life for the Lord. And you need to ignore anybody that would cause you to feel a burden of reproach.
Right.
Okay? Can I just say that? Can I just say that God don't look at us that way and that's all that matters?
That's why he went to Calvary.
Exactly.
That's why we have the cross. But
and all you people watching this, you mean girls in the church, we need to do an episode on that. You know what? Maybe my next episode going to be on mean girls in the church. All you mean girls in the church. All you church Lindsay Lohans.
Oh, have mercy.
Mean girls. Y'all need to leave people alone that are trying to make their lives better. Maybe they don't have it all together yet. Get on your knees and pray for them. Be their friend. Take them to lunch.
I was going to say, be an example. Buy them a coffee. Take them to lunch. Try to
lift them up.
Befriend people.
Be a friend to them.
Yes.
I don't get it, y'all. We brothers and sisters in the Lord. Nobody should feel a burden of reproach attached to their past. Like,
no,
that is just ridiculous. But whoever you are, I'm just saying, you probably just doing awesome. And I love you. And I love you. One more question and we're going to go.
All right.
One more question. It's a funny question.
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Someone asked Batman or Superman?
Oh, Superman all the way.
Batman. Superman, a whole alien.
No, I love Superman.
Look, I love Superman. Don't get me wrong. I love Superman.
Because Wonder Woman goes with Superman. And really, if you really want to get...
Batman is part of the Justice League, too.
I don't care.
Thank you very much.
Wonder Woman, it's really Wonder Woman for me. But you didn't ask about Wonder Woman.
That was actually part of the question, Wonder Woman or Bionic Woman.
It's Wonder Woman
Bionic
all the
Woman
way.
don't even fit into the category.
It's Wonder Woman all the way.
Bionic Woman. Yeah, Wonder Woman all the way.
Listen, I was raised with nothing but boy cousins. I'm the oldest grandchild, and I was raised with nothing but boy cousins until my sister came along, I guess, and she's 8 years younger than me. So I was alone, okay? And there was 4 of them on one side and 3 of them on the other side. Anyway, on my mom's side, there was 4 of them and 1 of me. So I had to learn, well, they always were superheroes. Like, so I was Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And I was the best.
She's in the Bible.
Wonder Woman.
You know, she's in the Bible. Wonder Woman is definitely in the Bible. I don't know if it's 1st or 2nd Corinthians, but it talks about Diana. The Wonder Woman was the mythical. She was like, y'all go read it. I was definitely reading that scripture one day. I was like, stop! Wonder Woman is straight up in the Bible.
I'm done with you.
He was addressing the church of Corinth, and he was talking about them cutting their hair for Diana, and I'm probably saying the wrong thing, but Diana's in there, and she was Diana. Y'all go look it up. Don't knock it till you look it up.
Listen.
Wonder Woman's in the Bible. I'm not saying she was saved. I'm saying it says they worship Diana.
And now that, yes, that is, yes.
Who is Wonder Woman? Diana.
I mean, I know a lot of Dianas.
But she was part of Zeus and the Greek gods and all of that.
True.
What is the New Testament written in? Greek? Ding. There you go. I'm just saying, Wonder Woman's in the Bible.
Pastor, if you're watching this, I'm going to get her a Bible study.
And the reason I love Batman is because Batman he's not an alien. He's powerful without having powers.
Kryptonite? Hello?
Look, I'm just saying.
Listen. Okay, we'll just agree to disagree on that one.
Agree to disagree. But we can agree on Wonder Woman.
Yes, we can.
And she was in the Bible. Go look it up.
I can't.
Look, there's more questions, but we'll have another Q&A another time. But we love you guys.
Yes, we do. Thank you for joining us.
See you next time.